President Trump's war on science is continuing. So the Hill reports the administration is seeking major cuts to the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, one of the government's climate science agencies. According to a budget memo obtained by the newspaper, the White House is trying to cut the agency's funding by 17%. Cutting the NOAA's budget would take away $126 million in research funding and $513 million from its satellite division. By the way, that's one of the ways we can predict weather events. So we'd have worse hurricane predictions, worse natural disaster predictions if he were to go down this road. Never mind, again, $126 million cut from research. Research seems like a pretty important thing in the year 2017, especially when we're dealing with climate change and the devastating effects tied to that. But no, they want to do a giant cut because he's anti-science. Republicans, like Sean Hannity, for example, loves to get all butthurt when we say stuff like that about Republicans. When we say, like, hey, Republicans, they want dirty water and dirty air. He, mocks that, please, we want dirty water and dirty air. No, it's not that you want it. It's that that's what happens as a matter of fact when you get to implement the policies you want to implement. So, yeah, when you gut the Clean Water and Clean Air Act, when President Trump signs an executive order allowing coal companies to pollute waterways, as he recently did, that is the effect of it. It's not that you want to drink dirty water, it's that because you have dumbass ideas and you believe in deregulation like it's a religion, that is the logical conclusion of that, of implementing those ideas. So that's what it is. And now we see, look, he's just an old, narrow-minded, closed-minded fool. That's what Trump is. He's not bright. So for somebody to try to explain to him, hey man, here, listen, this is why the NOAA is important. By the way, what percentage of the budget went to the NOAA beforehand? Probably less than 1%, just like with the EPA. It was less than 1%, but he says, fuck it, let's cut it 24% anyway. So we don't spend a lot of money on these agencies anyway. We should spend more on these agencies. But he goes, no, I don't see the EPA, they get in the way of business. Tremendous. So we have to cut it. Let me just tell you, that's what we're going to do. The NOAA does science and research and stuff, but that's pussy shit. What are you going to do? You're going to tell me when there's a rainstorm? Well, I'll go outside and put my finger to the wind and I'll figure it out. Let me just tell you. So he's just, and you know where all these resources are going, right? The military. $54 billion increase in military spending. The U.S. already has the biggest military ever created in the history of the world by far. By far. We spent $7 trillion in Iraq, a few trillion more in Afghanistan. We have 800 military bases around the world. We spend more than the next 9 biggest countries combined. He's like, weak, depleted. The military's depleted. Trump is going to rebuild it. Cut everywhere else. The damage that they do, and they're oblivious to it, man. They're oblivious. He genuinely doesn't see why this is a terrible idea, why it's a bad idea to cut $126 million from climate research, and why $513 million from the satellite division is horrific. He doesn't see. He doesn't get it. He doesn't care. So this is what you're dealing with. A dumbass administration. And I have people might get mad at me for framing it like this, but how else am I supposed to frame it? That's what it is. They don't see, they have an absolutist mentality on stuff like regulation. Now, the Democrats are accused of having that, but that's just not true. Bernie Sanders in a town hall recently, a guy asked him a question, a small business guy, and he's like, what are we going to do with all this red tape? And Bernie was like, look, man, there's a lot of regulations that we don't have that we need on the 1%, and we need to make sure that we don't pollute and we take care of the environment and we take care of our water and we take care of the air and all that stuff. He's like, yeah, but what about the red tape for small businesses? And Bernie's like, yeah, of course, if there are burdensome, unnecessary regulations that are affecting small businesses, I am not in favor of them. Yes, I would vote to take those away. You can get that admission from Bernie Sanders, who's viewed as a far-left politician. You can't get the concession from a Republican that, hey, man, maybe there are some smart, efficient new regulations we should put in place. What do they say? No, we need a freeze. Trump said a freeze on all new government regulations. It was one of the things he campaigned on. He said we could eliminate 75 to 80% of all regulations. That is fucking mental. You would have to go to protections that keep fucking E. coli out of our food and salmonella out of our food. You have to slash the FDA budget to the bone. You have to make our pharmaceutical drugs so much more dangerous because at compounding facilities, you would have to deregulate those where they mix the drugs. They're absolutist in their mindset as they claim the Democrats are absolutist in our mindset. No, I'll get rid of the shitty regulations, but we got to keep the smart regulations. Meanwhile, Trump just appointed Scott Pruitt to head the EPA. This is a guy who sued the EPA 14 times, and he's on the record as saying the Clean Water and Clean Air Act are a problem. Doesn't seem like a problem to me. So they're the absolutists, they're the extremists, and their deregulation ideology. By the way, they act like it's never been tested. You know, guys, we had massive deregulatory policies in the lead up to the Great Recession. Bill Clinton did a bunch of deregulation. Yes, the neoliberal Democrats, the new Democrats, the corporate Democrats are part of the problem. George W. Bush did deregulation. Lo and behold, soon after that, the subprime mortgage crisis and the Great Recession. It's almost like deregulation is a shitty idea. But going even way before that, in the lead up to the Great Depression, the Roaring 20s. The Roaring 20s. What happened in the Roaring 20s? All the presidents during it and before it, deregulation like crazy. And oh my God, the economy's taking off. That's so great. That's what's happening right now as we speak. Oh my God, the market's soaring. Oh my God, this is so great. Look at how awesome this is. Because industry, corporations are reacting to Donald Trump saying, free for all, I'm going to gut every regulation. Yippee skippy, oh my God, look, we're doing so well. The money's flowing and the good times are never going to end. Oh my God, another crash. That's what happened with the Great Depression. Remember, Roaring 20s. The Roaring 20s came before the Great Depression. Roaring. It's so great. Everything's so good. Oh my God, look, everything just collapsed. People are committing suicide. The wealth was all fake because it was deregulation. It was fake growth. And now they're doing the same thing on every front, and they're cutting even basic regulatory agencies like fucking climate research and shit for our satellites, which allows us to predict weather events. We have an idiot in the White House. This is a dumbass administration. And you might sit there now and say, no, I don't believe it. I don't believe it. Wait and see, bitch. Wait and see. Wait and see. The next crash is coming. It's 100% coming. And I also blame Obama because Obama's regulation that he did with Dodd-Frank was way too weak, you know, and it's been gutted ever since then. I mean, there were some good things in there like the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, which was Elizabeth Warren's brainchild. But watch, you wait. There will be another crash and everybody will say, Kyle, you were right again. You know, how did we not see it? How did we not know it was a giant bubble in the economy? How is it wages are not going up? Middle-class wages have been stagnant since the 1980s. But now all of a sudden the market is exploding? How is the market exploding when wages haven't gone up? So it's not like the middle class and the poor have any more money. It's almost like it's fake growth, fueled by speculation and deregulation. That's exactly what it is. So wait, it'll crash and everybody will come back and say, Kyle was right yet again. And then since we have a monstrous administration in the White House, their answer might be, if the crash comes soon enough, well, obviously the answer is we needed to do more deregulation. We didn't do enough deregulation.